films hopefully will be the best we've ever had. They tend to get better each year. Depending on the weather, we'll get a huge crowd, and of course we've got a couple of new initiatives this year. We're doing Trop Junior again. This is actually our second year for that, which is the event that happens during the day, and it's for kids under 15 years old, so that's pretty exciting. Trop Score, which is like a tropfest for composers. So we're doing that, and lots of other exciting new things to add to tropfest this year, so it should be a big one. Movie Extra have come aboard as our naming rights sponsor, which is great. And it also means that apart from all the other exciting stuff they're doing with us, we're doing our first ever national broadcast. So for people who can't get to the live venues that are happening in the capital cities around Australia, there'll be a huge television audience watching this thing live on Movie Extra. So in terms of like the filmmakers' audience, this is the biggest we've ever had at tropfest, and we're planning for it to get bigger over the 5 years or so, the next 5 years or so, which is what the Movie Extra deal is for. We get anywhere from 600 to 700 to 800 films, so it's not really possible for me to watch them all unless I had nothing to do for about a month. So what happens is, for 1 week we have 3 sets of people. We split the films up into 3, and they all watch those, and they shortlist about 80 films, which is what I watch. And I have a small group of sort of advisors and friends and whatever. We all watch those, we talk about them, and we, really, I come up with the 16, but I get a lot of feedback and a lot of advice from some of the people on that panel. I always say to people, like, I think if I'd planned it this way, it probably wouldn't have happened. It's the classic accident that happened with tropfest. It just really started as a screening of a short film of mine, and it grew organically. For the first 3 or 4 years, I didn't even really want it to grow. I was so busy wanting to be an actor and a filmmaker and all that stuff. It wasn't until about '98 that I figured there was a way to actually harness all this energy and maybe even hire a couple of people, which I didn't do for the first couple of years, and get the ball rolling in a sort of much more organised fashion. So that's when it happened. But no, I never anticipated. Each year almost, like if you'd asked me last year, could I anticipate a live broadcast on television around Australia, I would have said you're out of your mind. And here we are. If you'd asked me, was there going to be a composer, a Trop Score, or the Super Short Series, which is another initiative we have where some of our best filmmakers make basically branded entertainment with Lancer, I would have said that was crazy, and we're doing that. So, it is growing all the time. The ideas come from all over. We get email suggestions and all that sort of thing, and it's very much an organic thing, tropfest, and that's how I want it to be, and I'm really proud of it. Not really, because I think I'm really lucky in that there's a big team of people who are very dedicated to tropfest. So I spend a pretty good chunk of my year on it, but not so much so that it gets in the way of the other things I want to do, like directing and writing and those sorts of things. So, and the other thing is, I know a lot of people who only direct, only write, and I always feel kind of privileged that I do get to spend some of my year doing something outside of that, and also something that's about someone else. Tropfest is about giving young filmmakers a break, something that I wish I had when I was, a lot younger and starting out. So it is nice to spend a chunk of time doing something that's not just all about your own career and your own sort of personal progression. I think that's kind of a nice feeling. Still continuing. Yeah, we had our first film in September, which did very well. We're starting to look a little more into television right now, just because we're working very closely with Movie Extra, and together that's the sort of things we want to do. And I have an ambition for making some great TV. I've been spending a bit of time in America working on producing Without a Trace, and I've been directing a show called Fringe, which I'm not sure is here yet, but it's a sort of a sci-fi television show over there. Also The Mentalist, which of course is the Simon Baker show. So I did a little bit of that. So I've sort of been dabbling a little in TV, and I'd love to make some great Australian TV. So that's what the TFP is focused on a little bit at the moment. But we're always looking for great features, great television, both with some of the Trop alumni and with a whole bunch of other people as well.